Thank you for tuning in for Education, Leadership, and Beyond, Surviving and Thriving. My name is Andrew Murata, host of the show, and happy Tuesday. It is June 23rd. Proud member of the Education Podcast Network, Voice Ed Radio Canada, wherever you are taking in your podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Leave us a positive comment in the reviews and certainly jump in the show. I love to meet guests, that are jumping in the chat. And certainly today's guest, my friend Matt Booth, high energy, high intensity, the Director of Strength and Conditioning at Canterbury Schools in Fort Myers, Florida. He is the Dean of Athletics and a leadership teacher. I can't wait to ask him about the leadership class and the work he's doing there. So we're going to meet Matt in a moment, and I'm grateful to have Matt on today for the podcast. I want to thank IXL for sponsoring the show. We appreciate them and certainly appreciate their partnership. Here's a word from IXL.
Thank you to IXL for sponsoring today's podcast. IXL is the most widely used online learning and teaching platform K-12. Over 1 million teachers use IXL in their classrooms every day. It empowers schools with complete curriculum, robust reporting, assessment data, and more. It saves teachers a lot of valuable time with ready-made plans aligned to the standards of the textbooks. Everything is all integrated into one platform, so you can simplify your EdTech tools. Visit IXL.com to lead students towards data-driven excellence today. The link is in the show notes. And again, thank you to IXL for sponsoring today's podcast.
All right, friends, let's get started. We're going to meet Matt Booth in just a moment. But the opening segment is about energy. It is 4:15 here on the East Coast. It's been a long week, even though it's only Tuesday. We're building up towards graduation here in New York schools. We're still in school. Matt's been out of school almost a month. We're still in school and leading towards graduation. So a lot happening. And I'm standing. I wanted to be standing to make sure I could bring great energy for the podcast today because Matt is such an energizing guy. And that's the opening concept. How can we generate energy? 3 ways I think that we can generate energy in ourselves, in our schools, in our companies, in our businesses. And here they are. Number 1 is action, right? I could be sitting, I could be down. That makes me a little sluggish in the afternoon. And I'm tired, but I'm going to stand for the show. It produces energy. Your actions change your attitudes. Your motions change your emotions, and your movements change your moods. So standing and moving, right, it helps generate energy. That's number 1. Number 2, do energy-producing activities, right? Do energy-producing activities. Matt and I were just talking off air. I like movies, right? I like movies at the end of the night, but maybe it's taking a walk. Maybe it is going for a drive. Maybe it is, movement there. Dates, right? Always going on dates. I got 3 teenagers, and I'm always telling them, do adrenaline-producing activities on a date. You go for dinner. You do this. They're kind of passive. My wife and I took a trip recently. We did the indoor parachuting event where you're on here. We like to go to the beach and we like to travel, those things. Energy producing activities produce energy. So think about that on your journey. Do energizing activities. And lastly is sleep. Everyone says, oh, the Knicks. Oh, did you watch the Knicks? The Knicks. Yeah, I was excited for the Knicks. I'm a New Yorker. I grew up in Staten Island, New York. I was excited. But the games were on at 8:30. I would watch the first few minutes. And I'd be in bed. The Knicks were down 20. The Knicks were down 30. I was in bed at 9 o'clock. I go to bed at 9 and I'm up at 5. That's my routine. But those 8 hours of sleep provide so much benefit to my health and my wellness there. And I get my sleep. Even now, summertime, a little later, I'm trying 9:15. I'm telling the family, hey, I got to go to bed. And it's just barely getting dark at 9, but I'm going to bed. And I'm going to get that rest and certainly try to get those 8 hours in. So those 3 things I think can help produce energy. One is the action. Number two is those energy producing activities. And number three, certainly getting the appropriate amount of rest for your body. Speaking of energy, here he is, Canterbury Schools, Fort Myers, Florida. Matt, welcome in, my friend. Welcome to the program.
What's going on, Andrew? I'm listening to you, and I'm all fired up. I'm not standing, but I am going to try to sit still. And we're going to have a great time, man. I'm excited for this.
And we're excited to have you on, Matt. You're a big guy, so you'd have to adjust the whole studio there.
Yeah, right.
Friends, this is Matt Booth, the Director of Strength and Conditioning, the Dean of Athletics, and a leadership teacher, Canterbury Schools, Fort Myers, Florida. Matt, welcome. And that's a lot of titles there, Matt. Tell me about your role there, some of the responsibilities you have, and the work you're doing at Canterbury.
Yeah, you hit it on the head, Andrew. I do have a lot of titles, and this is one thing I discovered, Andrew, and I have never worked in the private school world before. I just finished up my 8th year, but what I discovered is we do tend to add titles to you as your career goes on. So originally I was hired as the Director of Strength and Conditioning. So I mean, that's my background, that's my passion, working with all the teams and working with all the student athletes. And being in the weight room and being on the field and working on conditioning and working on the mental game. But Andrew, what's really cool is as I progressed as a leader and as I progressed as a person, my role has changed. And so this happened right around COVID, Andrew, where 2020 we're all sent home, right? And for the first time ever, I didn't have sports in my life, man, and I struggled. And my athletes were struggling because we all labeled and we all identified ourselves as, for me, I was just Matt Booth, the strength and conditioning coach. Well, I didn't have that when I was at home for COVID. What about my football players or my basketball players or our soccer players? They were just identifying. So I always say that COVID was my great awakening, where I had to peel back the layers and actually ask, who am I? Who am I beyond being a strength and conditioning coach? Who am I beyond being the former collegiate athlete? And I had to dig deep, man. And when we got back, Andrew, like I was on a mission. Like I wanted to dive into the bigger purpose. I didn't want to just talk about tactics and strategies anymore, man. I wanted to dive into leadership. I wanted to dive into culture. I wanted to dive into mental performance. So that's where this role of Dean of Athletics kind of fell into my lap, where my head of school was like, Matt, we need to bring this to our athletic department. We need to have these conversations. We need to create intentional space. So within this role now is I get to work on the leadership program with our teams. I get to work on developing culture. I get to work on the mindset and the mental game for all of our athletes and coaches. And then, Andrew, that expanded to not just athletics. Now I'm going into this new role as the leadership teacher. So now I'm going to be not just working with our student athletes. I have the opportunity and the privilege to work with our students, our teachers, more on the academic side. So it's really been a cool progression going from 8 years ago to where I am today, and understanding like my progress as just understanding who I'm being and how I want to show up has really transformed how I show up on our campus.
Yeah. Congratulations there. You're doing great work. And like you said, it continues to expanding. Matt, I just talked about energy to open the show. So you're in the weight room with kids.
Yeah.
And if they're up too late playing games, or you could sense that sluggishness. What do you say about bringing that energy to the weight room setting or to a practice setting?
Well, it's funny, man. You had my wheels turning when you're giving your 3 keys. And when I talk about energy, Andrew, my favorite expression is energy mirrors energy. So I have to be mindful, being the strength and conditioning coach, how am I walking into the weight room? What energy am I bringing? Because I know that energy is going to reflect off. That's going to be contagious for our athletes. So I'm very intentional. I'm super strategic. I always ask the question to myself, what do my kids need from me right now? Well, they need my energy. They need me to show it. I don't want to be that coach. I don't want to be that strength and conditioning coach who just says, do as I say, not as I do. I got to start with me. I got to bring it first. So energy mirrors energy. The other thing I love to talk about with our kids, man, is, you've got to wake up in your story. And think about our teenagers right now. What's the first thing they do, Andrew, you think? They wake up and they jump on this. They jump on social media, or they jump on, they go on TikTok. They wake up in someone else's story. My challenge to them is, the first 10, 15 minutes, wake up in your story. Don't jump on your phone. Ask yourself, like, who do I want to become today? What are some things I want to accomplish? Because I guarantee if you wake up in your story, you're going to show up with more purpose. You're going to show up with more drive. You're going to have more energy, because it's like, no, I want to own my story. I'm not worried about what Johnny's doing on his TikTok. I'm worried about me. And I think that sets you up with, what you're thinking about throughout the day. So if you look in the world of psychology, they always talk about every thought you have creates a feeling, and every feeling leads to a function. I want to make sure I'm paying attention to what I'm saying to myself, because I know if I'm feeling the right way, I'm going to function the right way. If I'm functioning the right way, I'm going to get the results I want. But I have to first focus on me. What am I telling myself? Am I waking up in my story? You do those things, man, you're going to be fired up every single day when you show up.
Awesome stuff, Matt. Friends, this is Matt Booth, Fort Myers, Florida. If you're watching the show live, jump in and say hello. Certainly throw a question in there, or let us know where you watch it from. Matt bringing great energy today. And Matt, you're in summer now, right? I had explained we're not done, but you've been done since the end of May, beginning of June. But that has led you to have some different leadership opportunities. Why don't you share a little bit about the work you're doing with the Way of Champions, Dr. Jerry Lynch, and you've done some traveling, you've done some presenting there. Why don't you share a little bit about what you're doing now that school has ended for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Like Andrew, this is my favorite time of year. I love summertime because, like you said, this is my chance to explore different avenues and do different things and step out of my comfort zone. So for the past 4 years now, I've had the privilege to work with Dr. Jerry Lynch and John O'Sullivan. Dr. Jerry Lynch is the founder of Way of Champions, and what we did, this is the second year we've run our own Way of Champions licensing and certification program. We do it over in Puma Hills in Lake George, Denver. And what's really cool, Andrew, is we had 27 coaches from around the world. We had a coach from New Delhi, coming all the way from New Delhi. We had coaches from Canada. Yeah, it was insane. And what's awesome, man, is we're at a retreat facility. We're in the middle of the mountains, and every single coach turns in their phone. We go tech free. And all we do is we look at the human side of coaching, right? We look at our values. We look at our vision. We look at how can we actually lead with more love? How can we build better connections with our athletes? How can we actually create a culture that we really want to have within our organizations or within our teams? And for 4 days, that's all we dive into. It's not about tactics. It's not about strategies. I'll tell you what, Andrew, every coach's clinic I went to, that's all we talked about. You would spend 2 hours on figuring out how to run a jet sweep for football, or 2 hours how to run a pick and roll offense. But at the end of the day, Andrew, we're coaching humans. It's getting to the human side of coaching and being able to connect to our players beyond just being an athlete and seeing them for who they are and understanding their full identity and really leading with love.
Well said there, Matt. Congratulations on that and the work you're doing. But that has also generated something else for you. Dr. Lynch has motivated you, some of the other leaders there, to put some of this stuff down on paper. Your first book is going to be coming out soon. It's at the editing stage right now. Tell me about that project.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, so before we went on air, I was telling you, I never thought that this would be a possibility. I never saw myself as a writer because, again, I'm going to go back to the old me. The old me, the old Matt Booth held on to so many labels, right? We all do this. And I talk to our coaches, and I talk to our athletes, and I talk to our students about this. Like, we all fall into these 3 traps, and I call them just the 3 traps of identity. And the first trap, I am what I have, right? Having that fixed mindset. Trap number 2, we talk about, I am what I do. And that's what I did for the longest time, Andrew. I am Matt Booth, the strength and conditioning coach. I am what I do. My world should have just been in the weight room. Who am I to write a book? And the last trap, Andrew, we talk about, I am who other people say I am. We have that external pressure or social media or what society is saying what success looks like. So I really had to peel back those layers. And it all started with one email from Dr. Jerry Lynch. And it was crazy, Andrew. I was telling you about it. I logged into my email 5 years ago. It's early in the morning. And Jerry just wrote this one line. He said, Matt, you're a great writer. One day you're going to write a book. And I blew it off, man. Because again, I was protecting something. And it was just that gentle nudge. I call it the whisper, man. It was this whisper that kept showing up in my narrative. You're going to write a book. You're going to write a book. And here we are 5 years later, Andrew. And like you said, it's in the copy editing process. I literally just got off the phone with the editor, and he was just talking about, like, Matt, this is an amazing manuscript. Like, you should be proud of yourself. And it was just that moment. It's like, damn, I really did that because I let go of what society said I should be doing and really just focus on who I wanted to be. And I poured into this project, man. Like, it's my heart and soul, and I can't wait for it to come out.
There's no doubt you poured into it. It's going to be fantastic. Champions before championships. It's going to be a fantastic book. What's your time frame, Matt? Are we looking at 2026, or you think it'll be in the beginning of the new year? Where do you think time-wise you'll be?
I'm thinking 2026. Our goal, kind of with I'm working with Coach's Choice, and our goal is to have it ready, hopefully as the new school year is rolling out, so teams, organizations can kind of pick it up and use it as a playbook, kind of a guidebook as they navigate their seasons.
Fantastic. Matt, my friend, Michael Kewins, great basketball player, Staten Island, New York, gave you a nice shout out here. And Michael, maybe we could get him to Staten Island to come and present, but really inspired by the work you're doing. And Michael was a great basketball player. His dad was a fantastic referee.
Awesome.
Nice shout
much love to you, Michael, man. I appreciate you.
He was a big guy like you, but he could shoot. My God, Michael, he's a great player. Matt, you mentioned the weight room a few times, and obviously you're in there. Obviously you have a background in it. But how do you continue to do it now? We're not getting any younger.
Yeah.
You're in great shape. But what are some things that you're doing to take care of yourself to be able to be that guy in the weight room, motivating kids, not only strength-wise, but also mentally-wise? Give me some wellness tips that you do to take care of yourself.
I'm so glad you bring this up, Andrew. So again, I always go back to, I have to be the one that models the way, right? I never wanted to be that coach that says, do as I say, not as I do, right? I had to make sure I'm holding myself accountable. And I love it, man. I love the feeling I get when I go into the weight room. And I'm older now. I'm 46, almost 47. So my workouts have modified a little bit, but I mean, I'm in there 3 days a week. I'm training right with the kids. You know, the kids that we're going back and forth. They like to talk a little trash. I got to make sure I'm ready to go, man. So we're in there. I'm still working out 3 days a week. I run 3 days a week. I still love playing basketball. And again, it's just one of those things, like, I'm so passionate about it. I always feel better after I work out. And again, like, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like, you modify based on what you are able to do at this point of your life. But for me, it's just going in there and modeling the way and making sure our kids see it from me first. And it's one of those things, like, I want to inspire our kids. I want to show them, like, at my age, I can still do these things. I can still dunk a basketball, like, which is crazy in my head. Like, I can still do those things. I'm sore for like 3 or 4 days after, but I can still get up there. But again, it comes back to us as leaders. Like, we have to model the way. I can't just preach it and not do it, because kids are going to commit to you more when you're actually in it, in the trenches with them. Like, I'm side by side with our kids and like, no, I feel your pain. I know what you're going through because I'm still doing it. It's not, oh, 15 years ago, back in my day, this is what I would do. No, I'm there with you. And I think I've created a better environment that way because our student athletes understand, like, no, coach gets it. Like, he understands what I'm going through. He understands the mental struggle. Like, I'm big. Like, it's not just the physical game, like you're saying. We got to focus on that mental game. Our brain is like a muscle. We got to make sure we're training it just as much as we're doing the physical. Because think about sports and think about life, Andrew, man. It's we wake up and it's unpredictable, right? You go into, I mean, you ref for so long at the high level. Like, sports are unpredictable. There's chaos. Like, we don't know what's going to show up, but if we train the right way mentally, our kids are going to be able to handle pressure. They're going to be more resilient. They're going to understand how to build the right type of confidence, right? And this isn't just for sports. I hope everyone understands that. Like, I love using sports as like the greatest classroom because you can take all those things and apply it in everyday life. We're not always going to be athletes, right, Andrew? Like, I'm certainly not playing on any teams anymore. But that mentality I learned as an athlete has helped me become a better father, a better husband, a better leader in the classroom. Like, all these things, we have to make sure we're teaching our kids the right way and getting them to zoom out. And it's not just about the scoreboard. It's just not about the trophies. It's not about getting the D1 scholarship, all those things. Like, we want to become better versions of ourselves. And how do you do that? You get uncomfortable. You challenge yourself. You live in the world of discomfort because, you know, when you embrace that, that's where you see growth. And what better place to do it than in the weight room and challenge yourself there. And you take that into the classroom and challenge yourself in math class. You take that into real world life and you challenge yourself and have hard conversations, or you step out and do new things. Like, all these things, they just stack. And next thing you know, you become a better version. So that's why I show up, man, every day and make sure I got to put in the work, man. I want it to be contagious, and our kids feed off of that.
Matt Booth, friends, a tremendous inspiration, man. I love it. I love the energy. This is how you and I connected through.
Yeah.
a lot of positive energy there, Matt. Speaking of the energy, I mentioned those 3 strategies, but one of the things I did not talk about was food. And clearly you can see that you're in shape. What are some dietary recommendations that you would make for parents, for leaders, you know, in addition to your student athletes, but certainly the people, you know, your coaching staff there? What are some dietary recommendations you'd make to lead a healthy lifestyle?
That's a great question, man. And sometimes I'm pretty bad about this because my favorite meal is chicken wings. So I still have my cheat days. But I mean, the big thing, man, I don't stress too much about, you know, always being on a diet. I do eat clean. I make sure I'm paying attention to what I eat. But I think it's one of those things, man, I don't stress too much about it because I'm not always worried about what I'm putting in. But I try to eat clean. I'm still a big chicken guy. Get my protein sources in. Obviously, my greens, my vegetables, all those things. But again, I try to be mindful of what I'm putting in. But again, it's one of those things, I'm not micromanaging and I'm not measuring every little thing because I feel like that adds a lot of pressure and you stress yourself out a little bit more. But just be mindful of what you're putting in. I mean, you see the kids nowadays in the energy drinks and all these things that they're putting into the body, and you really don't know what are in these energy drinks, or even you know, creatine. You can only absorb so much creatine. So you just be mindful of what you're putting in. I tell our kids, I'll look at some of the labels of some of the stuff they buy. I'm like, well, how much did you spend on this? And they're like, well, coach, it was like $40. I'm like, well, $30 of it went to waste because your body can't even absorb it. So just being mindful of what you're putting in your body. Again, those energy drinks they might make you feel good for a second, but you're going to have that crash. You don't know what the long-term things are going to happen when you drink those things. So just being mindful of what you're putting in your body.
Yeah. Good advice there, Matt. You mentioned your family. Shout out to your wife, Melissa, your son, Ian. I'm hoping he's tuning in. Ian, if you're watching, give your dad a shout out in the chat. He's a true inspiration. And enjoy your time. I know you have a vacation coming up, Matt. And speaking of summer, what are some things that you reflect on in summer, right? Where we get out of school a little bit, our routines change. What are some routines in there that you like about summer? But also talk to me about some of the things that you reflect upon, some time to think and clear your mind, maybe some future projects. So one, what's a summer routine that you enjoy? And two, what are some things that you're reflecting on?
Man, I love that you asked this, because one of my favorite lines, Andrew, is I think it's the William Dooley. He says you don't learn by experience, you learn from reflecting on the experience. And this is the time, man, where I really slow down. Right during the school year, like you get so, I mean, I hate using the word, but you get busy, right? And I work with every single team on our campus, and my days are stacked. And now during summertime, I work like part-time, and this is my chance to sit down and reflect and ask myself. I always ask this question, Andrew, is like, who am I becoming? Right? That's where I always start. At the end of the year, I want to ask myself, who am I becoming next? Right? Because there's always different versions of ourselves. So just slowing down and going through these questions and asking myself, like, who do I want to become? Right? How am I going to get there? You talked about action at the beginning of the show. It's like building in the necessary steps. So it's one thing to create the image. It's the other thing to actually build in the steps, right? I know you talked about in your book, you use the acronym ACE. Action changes everything. And that's a big thing for me is, once I discover who I want to become in the next iteration of myself, I have to build in the action steps. So I am a huge reader. I typically read like 2 hard copy books and 2 Kindle books at the same time. And
oh wow,
I'm just a super curious learner. I mean, that's how we connected. Like, I'm the master of the cold email. So if I read a book and I enjoy the book and I want to learn more, you're probably going to get an email from Matt Booth introducing himself and saying, I want to learn more. I want to dive deeper. And I think that's one of the greatest tools we have now is utilizing technology. Like, we can reach out and connect with so many people. And then the greatest resource you have all these mentors. I have all these books in my office. I have like my own little library. Like, you have built-in mentors. So for me, it's being curious, asking myself, who do I want to become, having an action plan, and always just being that learner and staying in that beginner's mindset, not an expert mindset.
And Matt's not just saying that for the show here. He did that, and he did reach out. He read the book. He's an outline caller, and then he invited me to his leadership class. He invited me on your podcast there, and here we are. You got this book coming out, and it's awesome, Matt. Very active on social media as well. You can certainly Google him on Facebook and Instagram. Very active there. Your videos, your posts, very, very inspirational. But Matt mentioned coaching, and Matt mentioned having a mentor. If I could just take a moment, Matt, that's one thing I'd like to share. That is some of the work I'm doing as well. And here is a word on that, Matt.
Are you looking for high-performance leadership coaching? Well, Andrew Marotta is your coach. Passion, purpose, and commitment. What are you passionate about? What are you trying to accomplish? And what will you be committed to along the journey with Andrew to get those results that you are looking for? Join PPC Coaching with Andrew today. Are you ready to take your leadership to the next level?
Thank you for that. Thank you, friends. Again, if you're watching the show live, jump in the chat, say hello to Matt, throw a question in here, and I appreciate it. Matt, you mentioned about the books, right? I like all leaders are readers. I could see the library behind you. What are you reading right now, and what would you recommend to our audience?
All right, you ready for this one? I have them right here. So what I'm reading right now is Daniel Coyle's new book, Flourish, that just came out.
Oh.
Great book. I think you know this one, Andrew. Unreasonable Hospitality. I think your mentor Rob Gilbert gave you a copy of that one.
He did give me that. Good.
I do remember that. I'm reading a new book by John Levy. It's Team Intelligence: How Brilliant Leaders Unlock Collective Genius.
Mm.
And then a good friend of mine, Dr. Aaron Allmer, just came out with his book. It's called Unapologetic Athlete. And this dives into the issue where all of our athletes are just identifying as athletes and trying to broaden their lens of seeing them who they are beyond just being an athlete. So those are the 4 books I'm kind of diving into right now.
Beautiful. And Matt, you're very well read. Let me ask you this. How do you retain the information? You're a busy guy, your family, you're working, a lot of people, your mind's going. Are you a highlighter? Are you a writer? Are you writing it in the thing? How do you retain the information? Because I've heard you speak and you quote books, you quote the people, you retain the information as well. What are your strategies to not just let it lose it?
Man, if you could see my books, they're highlighted. There's notes. So yeah, I'm big on highlighting. I take notes. I use my phone. I think I got this from you, Andrew, where you just kind of go into your notes, and I just type as I go. That's why I also love reading Kindle books, because as you highlight for Kindle, it creates all the notes for you. And then what I do, man, is I handwrite too. So I remember better when I write everything down. So I'm highlighting, writing in the book, using notes on my phone, using Kindle, using all those things. And then the best thing, man, is after I read it, I get to go teach it in my classroom, right? So to show understanding for myself, it's not just reading it to read it, right? And this is a lesson I give our kids all the time. When you read something, call up your buddy and recite back what you read, and show that you understand what you read. So it's not just one of those things just to read. Like, no, let's show that we actually understand. So I have the bonus, Andrew, of being in a classroom on a regular basis where I can just take that stuff and actually, I'm going to use this in class. Let me see if I can actually teach it and retain it.
Yeah, and so cool. You reach out to the authors, you invite them in, and your kids so fortunate. Canterbury School get to meet these authors of these books that you're reading. So good for you. How about fiction? You ever read fiction books, Matt, or it's all nonfiction?
No, really, I'm a nonfiction guy. I mean, the closest thing I'll get is some of the authors will do like a fable story, but the lessons are kind of built in within the story. But I never really got into fiction. I've always been like a nonfiction guy.
Yeah. Well, you're leading, you're growing. I think it's fantastic there. Matt, you teach a leadership course. I got a lot of leaders that watch the program. The word leadership is in the title. So give me 3 things every day in school leaders should. Give me 3 things that you think leaders should do in school every day.
So 3 things I would say, this is one of my favorite expressions, is pay attention to your influence, because your influence is never neutral. Right. So recognizing how you're showing up on your campus, in your classroom, for your kids, all those things, just recognize your influence is never neutral. I always talk about how am I going to inspire, right? And Andrew, I'm kind of a word nerd, so I always look at the origin of the word. So inspire actually means to breathe in, right? So I want everyone to breathe in. We talked about energy, right? I want to show up. I want to make sure I'm inspiring. They're breathing it in. It's becoming internal, right? That's how we grow. It has to become internal. I want to inspire our kids, right? I don't want to just get them excited, because excited comes and goes. I want to inspire you. I want you to breathe in the energy. I want you to breathe in the lesson and make it their own, right? So influence and inspire. And then the last one is, it's another I word, and I love using the I words. It's impact. And you got to ask yourself, what's the impact I want to have today? What's the legacy I want to leave behind? Right? And every day you're mindful of these 3 things. What's my influence? How am I inspiring? And what am I actually leaving behind? Right? I'll use another quote, and this is a John Wooden, when they asked him, how do you know that you're a great coach? And John Wooden, he won 10 national championships in a row. And John always would say, ask me in 20 years.
Mm.
Did my players become great men? Did they become great husbands, right? Did they contribute to society? And that goes back to impact. As a leader, what's the impact you're leaving on your students? What's the impact on the people who are following you? Because at the end of the day, everyone chooses to follow you. It's not because of your title. It's about who you're being and how you're leading and how you're showing up for your people every day.
Fantastic stuff there, Matthew. Influence, inspire, and impact. The 3 I's. Beautiful. Well said.
I was on a roll there for a minute.
Awesome. Matt, this has been great. A lot of people watching. Guys, jump in the show. Leave Matt a positive comment or throw a question in there. Let me know where you're watching from. Anything else you wanted to share, Matt, before we get to rapid fire? Anything you wanted to say?
I mean, I'm big. I've been big. You know, you're talking about summer, right? And I get like on these themes, and I really been big on this whole idea of story, right? And I told you at the top of the show, I always challenge our kids to wake up in their story. And for anyone that's listening, Andrew, one of my favorite lines comes from Jim Lohr, and he talks about this in his book, The Power of Story. And he says, the most important story you'll ever tell about yourself is the story you tell to yourself. Mm. So think about that. That's the challenge I want our students to discover. What's that story that they want to tell to themselves? Not the story that you're trying to put on social media. Not the story that we're trying to show society. Again, the most important story you'll ever tell about yourself is the story you tell to yourself. It goes back to that idea about your thoughts. What are you telling yourself every single day? What are the feelings you're creating? Because if we're generating the right thoughts and the right feelings, we're functioning the right way, right? I'm adding a better page to my story every day. And that's kind of been my theme this summer is just owning your story, right? Brene Brown talks about that. You got to be brave. You got to be vulnerable. You got to be able to own your story. But the biggest thing is, what's the story you want to tell to yourself? Not to society, but to you. You do that, it goes back to your idea of energy. You'll wake up with more energy, purpose, and drive every single day.
Fantastic, Matthew. I appreciate you. This was great. That really good stuff. And again, you can tell you're so well read because you have these people and these quotes on the tip of your tongue. And Canterbury's lucky to have you. I know your book is going to be fantastic. Champions Before Championships, and all the work you're doing culminating in this great book. So I'm looking forward to that. And when it comes out, we're going to have you back on the program. Okay.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Awesome. Well, let's go. Let's get rapid fire, and then we'll get you home to Ian and Melissa. Are you cooking tonight? Is Melissa cooking? Is Ian cooking? Who's cooking in the Booth household tonight?
Typically, I do the cooking at the house, but my son is actually at a camp tonight, and my wife is going to her parents' house. So I'm actually gonna. I think I'm just gonna order some food, but typically I'm the one that's cooking at the house.
Okay. When you order food, will you pick it up on the way home? Will you eat somewhere? What's your strategy there? You going to take it back?
I'll pick it up and get to the house. I'll pick it up and go home.
Okay. Nice. So you get some quiet time by yourself at the house. Fantastic. Yeah. Awesome. Well, this is rapid fire, Matt. These are quick answers. First thing that comes to your mind, are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's roll, man. Last movie you saw?
Boys in the Boat.
Dr. Gilbert, a lot of recommendations.
One of my favorite books.
Yeah. Last concert you went to?
Red Hot Chili Peppers and Ice Cube in Tampa. Amazing show.
Wow. Talk about energy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What's the last song you sang out loud in the car?
It's funny. My son and I sing every car ride. We were just singing Counting Stars, One Republic.
Okay. Are you? I know it's very humid in Florida, certainly now. The windows up most of the time, or are you taking that heat in? What you keep the windows down in the summer?
No, windows up. Windows down, we would die right now with the feel like temperature of 115. So windows are up.
Is it that hot right now?
It's been crazy lately, like 110 feel like temperature.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's been in the 60s here in New York.
Yeah, they cancel Florida when it's in the 60s. So,
well, speaking of Florida, Fort Myers, Florida is fill in the blank.
The place where I discovered myself.
Well said there. Matthew's originally from Massachusetts and has become a Floridian now. In 2027, you're going to be an author. In 2027, I will fill in the blank.
I will be doing more leadership consulting throughout the U.S.
Fantastic. And where could people find that, Matthew? If they were interested, obviously Michael Kewen's today, very interested. Where can people contact you if they did want to get in touch with you about your book, about your speaking, that kind of stuff?
The easiest way right now, because I don't have a website yet, is just hit me up through Instagram at Coach Matt Booth. And just send me a DM. That would be the easiest way to get in touch with me.
Okay. And great content on there as well. Give Matt a follow. Matt, we talked food. What's your favorite dish?
Oh, I said it earlier. Chicken wings.
Chicken wings.
It's funny, my
so we just call them wings. You call them chicken wings.
Chicken wings. Yeah, chicken wings.
How do you have them prepared? Because I like wings too. What's your flavor? How are you having them prepared?
I'm a big medium, but I'm also a big garlic palm guy.
Okay. And so they're wet. See, I like the dry.
Yeah, wet. Yeah.
You getting sauce? Okay.
Yeah.
Your favorite vacation spot? I know you got a vacation coming up.
So we do love to go to Anna Maria Island every year, and then we're also a big cruise family. We love going Royal Caribbean. My son loves going on cruises.
Beautiful. Matt, you talked a lot of positive things here, but what's a pet peeve of yours? What's something that bothers you?
Being late or people being late.
Yeah. Value your time, right?
Yep.
If money was no object, what's your favorite hobby?
Man, there's no money with an object. I would just like literally hoop and hang out with the fam and just lounge around and have a good time.
Awesome. You're a big sports guy. Who is your sports team?
So I stick to my Boston roots. So I'm a Red Sox, Celtics, Bruins, Patriots, but my number one is Boston Celtics. I'm a big basketball guy.
How is that surviving in Florida? Is that acceptable? I mean, you getting stuff thrown at you?
I mean, no one is actually from Florida that lives in Florida. There's only a few that are actually from Florida. We all moved down to Florida.
Yeah.
So it's okay. We survive.
Word on the street is that Giannis is going to Miami.
Yeah, I'm actually glad because I didn't want to give up Jaylen Brown. So I'm glad we didn't go through with that deal.
Yeah, they were in the mix there.
Yeah.
Something about Matt Booth that people do not know about.
If I didn't go into the coaching world, I was thinking about going into the music industry. I'm a big music guy.
Can you play?
No, not.
You just like the music.
I was thinking going like producing side and stuff like that.
Okay. Got to give a shout out to a great coach here, Matt, in Port Jervis, Coach John Fagione. He's watching and gave you a nice shout out. Just named the scoreboard after him here, girls softball.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic coach and a great human being. Thank you, John, for tuning in. Matt, you dropped a lot of quotes. Really good stuff here. I got to go back. I'm going to clip a bunch of those. What's one more you want to share?
One more quote. I'll go on the leadership side and going back to the idea of legacy. And I think the biggest thing, Andrew, is legacy isn't about the dreams and goals you accomplish. It's about the dreams and goals you inspire in other people, right? And that's, again, going back to that word inspire, impact, and influence. It's not about what we do as leaders. It's not about what we accomplish. But again, it goes back to what we inspire in other people and seeing them doing bigger things than us.
Matt Booth, everybody. Incredible guest today, Matt. I love the energy. I feel you energized me here.
I hope no one got dizzy. I do rock back and forth in my chair. So, listener, I'm sorry. I was just fired up today.
Hold the jar with duct tape.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Well, good luck with the book coming out, Champions Before Championships. And again, Matt does a lot of work with coaches, athletic organizations. Canterbury Schools is lucky to have you, Matt. Keep up the great work, my friend.
Thank you, man. And again, Andrew, I gotta give you a shout. See, look, I'm rocking the brand here, people, for Andrew. And again, it's just awesome, man. Like you took me under your wing after that email. So this is really cool having the chance to talk to you on your podcast. So thanks, man.
Yeah. Support the brand. Thank you for that, Matt. Friends, have a great afternoon. Continue to take care of yourself. And like Matt said, what's your influence on others? How are we inspiring others? And what's that impact going to be? We'll end on that note. Matt Booth, everyone. Matt, keep surviving and thriving, my friend.
Thank you.
All right, stay on the line a second.
All right.